Squid Game Season 3, The Deadliest Game returns. The world thought the nightmare was over. The masks were gone, the players were freed, and the island where hundreds perished was left in ashes. But evil never dies easily. It hides, waits, rebuilds. And this time, the game has returned darker, smarter, and far more personal than ever before. From the very first moment, Squid Game Season 3 grabs your throat and doesn't let go. The air feels heavier, the shadows longer, and the silence more dangerous than the gunfire that once filled the arena. Netflix has turned this season into not just a survival show, but a war between guilt, power, and redemption. The return of Gi-hun, the survivor who refused to forget. When the story opens, we see Gi-hun, the winner of the first game, a broken man. He carries the weight of every face he watched die. The money that once glittered like hope now feels like blood on his hands. He gave it away, he wandered through life, but the haunting never stopped. And then he receives another invitation. A red card slipped quietly into his pocket, marked with the same circle, triangle, and square. The note simply reads, "The game has evolved. The world is watching." At that moment, you can almost feel his pulse racing. He knows walking back means risking everything, but turning away means letting evil grow unchecked. He decides if the game is still alive, he will end it from within. And this sets the tone for the entire season. It's not just survival anymore, it's rebellion. A world hooked on death. Season 3 dives deep into the twisted psychology of society. The games are no longer a secret. The rich don't just watch, they invest, they gamble, they own the players like stocks. Across the globe, the Squid Game has become an underground empire, streaming through hidden networks for the elite. The question the season asks is chilling. If people are desperate enough to die for money, will others pay to watch them die? We see new countries hosting versions of the same deadly games. But the Korean island remains the original, the purest form, the headquarters of horror. And that's where Gi-hun must go. The island rebuilt. When he arrives, it's like stepping into a graveyard reborn. The dorms are shinier, the walls cleaner, but the smell of fear still lingers in the air. There are new guards, new rules, and a new frontman, colder and smarter. This time, players are not kidnapped from slums. They're volunteers. Ordinary people who have watched the past games online, convinced they can outsmart fate. Influencers, businessmen, soldiers, doctors, all ready to prove that intelligence can beat luck. But the games remind them quickly, intelligence doesn't matter when the floor beneath you collapses. New faces, old demons. Among the new players are unforgettable personalities. A mother playing to buy her child's freedom. A soldier haunted by the lives he's taken. A hacker who believes he can crack the system. And a blind man who listens, feels, and somehow survives longer than anyone expects. Each of them brings a story, and every story is a ticking bomb. One moment you trust them, the next, you question if the ally beside you is your executioner in disguise. That's what makes Squid Game Season 3 so dangerously addictive. It doesn't just show blood, it shows betrayal in motion. The game's reimagined. The brilliance of this season lies in how it reinvents childhood games into psychological nightmares. Every round feels like a metaphor for the real world, for greed, faith, and control. The first challenge, keys and knives, forces players to unlock boxes scattered around a maze. Some hold rewards, others unleash deadly traps. It's not about luck anymore. It's about instinct, trust, and betrayal. Alliances form and break within seconds. Another horrifying round, the jump rope of fate, pushes players to synchronize or die. Every mistimed jump turns into a crimson splash on the floor. It's hypnotic and cruel, a perfect reflection of how one mistake in society can cost everything. In the final round, it's beyond a game, it's a test of conscience. Gi-hun faces not an opponent but a choice: destroy the system or become it. The rise of the new frontman. A shadow moves behind the scenes, the new frontman. Unlike the silent enforcer from before, this one is articulate, philosophical, almost gentle. He speaks of balance, of chaos, of how humanity needs the games to reveal its truth. In one chilling moment, he tells Gi-hun, "You can kill the game, but you can't kill what created it." His presence adds a deeper layer of menace. He's not just a villain, he's the reflection of everything Gi-hun fears he could become. And through their clash, the season turns from a fight for survival into a moral war. Blood, betrayal, and redemption. Every episode builds on emotion and despair. When friends turn on each other, when alliances shatter, the camera doesn't flinch. It watches quietly, letting silence become the loudest scream. One of the most powerful arcs is Gi-hun's bond with a young player who reminds him of the daughter he left behind. For a moment, he believes he can save her, until the system reminds him that compassion is weakness in the game. That heartbreak becomes the emotional heartbeat of the season. This time, Squid Game isn't just about who dies, it's about what dies inside the ones who live. A society that watches. Outside the island, the world is in chaos. Leaks from the game start surfacing. People argue whether it's fake or real. Some call it entertainment, others call it justice. Social media explodes with hashtags, debates, conspiracies. The show cleverly mirrors how today's audience consumes tragedy like a spectacle. As we watch the players fight for their lives, the show turns the mirror on us. It asks, are you any different from the VIPs? That's what gives this season its haunting power. You don't just watch it, you question yourself. The heart of darkness. Midway through the season, a shocking twist unfolds. The detective from Season 1, presumed dead, returns, scarred but alive. He has been inside the system, watching, collecting evidence. He becomes Gi-hun's secret ally, feeding him clues, guiding him toward the truth. But when the time comes to expose everything, the detective hesitates. Because what he discovers shakes his entire faith. His own brother was part of the founding team of the original game. It's betrayal stacked upon betrayal, and the web grows thicker. Every revelation feels like another knife in the viewer's chest. Nothing is safe, no truth is clean. The revolution. As Gi-hun and his small group of survivors learn the rules, they begin to fight back. They discover the control room, the broadcasting network, and the secret list of sponsors. They realize that if they can reach the main console and stream the game live to the public, the world will see the truth. And that's when the final battle begins. Guards turn on guards. Players revolt. The island erupts into chaos. In one breathtaking sequence, Gi-hun breaks into the command center as alarms scream and fires blaze. He sees the servers that broadcast the games, and he presses live. Every screen around the world flickers to life. For the first time, the audience sees the blood, the bodies, the truth. It's not entertainment anymore, it's evidence. The fall of the empire. The broadcast shakes the entire world. The hidden investors panic. Authorities launch raids across continents. The system collapses like a tower of cards. But amidst the chaos, the frontman escapes. His voice echoes through the monitors. You think you ended the game, but you only changed its name. That haunting promise leaves a shiver. Because even as the island burns, we see the same red cards being printed elsewhere. New players, new arenas, the virus spreads. It's a chilling reminder, you can't destroy greed, only move it. The emotional aftermath. When Gi-hun returns home, he's no longer a hero. He's a man who has seen too much. He tries to find peace, but peace doesn't recognize him anymore. There's one heart-crushing moment where he visits the grave of a fallen friend. He whispers, "I kept my promise, I ended it." But his trembling hands say otherwise. He knows the system is bigger than him, but he also knows that someone has to keep fighting. The season ends not with victory, but with realization. Gi-hun doesn't need to win. He just needs to make sure no one else loses like he did. Cinematic brilliance. From a production point of view, Season 3 pushes boundaries like never before. The visuals are surreal, blending dream and nightmare. Every color feels symbolic. The reds are deeper, the blues colder. The lighting feels almost alive, breathing with the player's fear. The music, haunting children's melodies twisted into orchestral terror, amplifies every heartbeat. And the performances, absolutely magnetic. Every actor looks like they're carrying their last ounce of strength. You can feel the exhaustion, the madness, the humanity breaking apart. This isn't just television. It's a moral mirror disguised as entertainment. The message behind the madness. At its core, Squid Game Season 3 is not about death. It's about the illusion of control. It tells us that no matter how civilized the world looks, desperation still drives people into cages. The game is a symbol, a reflection of capitalism, greed, survival, and human hypocrisy. One of the most haunting lines from this season comes when Gi-hun asks the front man, "Why do you keep doing this?" And the front man replies, "Because people keep watching." That one line sums up everything the show wants to tell us. As long as there's an audience for pain, the games will never end. A perfect storm of storytelling. Season 3 succeeds because it refuses to repeat itself. It builds on the foundation of the past, but evolves into something grander, more emotional, more philosophical, more terrifying. It doesn't just shock you with blood. It traps you in moral dilemmas. It makes you question whether you'd survive or whether you deserve to. The packing is masterful. The character arcs feel complete, yet uncertain. Every twist lands, every death hurts, every revelation feels earned. And by the end, when the screen fades to black, you're left breathless, not because of what you saw, but because of what it means. The legacy continues. Squid Game Season 3 closes with an eerie image. A single red card lands on a stranger's doorstep. They pick it up, flip it over, and smile. The circle, triangle, and square return one last time on screen. No words, no promises. Just silence. Because the greatest horror isn't that the games continue. It's that someone, somewhere, is still willing to play. Final thoughts. This season is more than a continuation. It's a confrontation. It challenges the viewer, breaks comfort zones, and asks the hardest question of all. If life gave you a chance to risk everything for a better tomorrow, would you take it? That's the genius of Squid Game Season 3. It's not just about survival, it's about humanity itself. It shows how fragile morality becomes when desperation takes control. Every frame, every scream, every silence tells a story of a world that has forgotten compassion. And yet, amidst the horror, one man still dares to hope. Gi-hun stands not as a winner, but as a witness, the voice reminding us that the real game is out here, in our world. So when the credits roll and the echoes of the playground song fade away, you can't help but sit in silence. Because Squid Game Season 3 doesn't just end, it lingers. It makes you question. It makes you feel. And it leaves you wondering one final thought. What would you do if the card found you?